Hey there, happy coders. This is Kevin from Happy Coding here, and today I'm going to do something a little different from what I normally do. So normally I have a goal and I come into a video and I kind of just accomplish the goal using things that I already know how to do. And today I have a goal, but I actually have never done this before. So this video is going to be kind of me demoing the process of learning something new from scratch. I don't know how that's going to go. Don't know if it's going to be fun or if it's going to be interesting, but here we are. So what I want to play with is, long story short, I want to play with typography in P5. So like changing fonts and stuff. I've never done that before, and I know that you can do it, but I don't know how to do it. So that's kind of my mission here. I had thought about doing this as part of another video, but I figured that this was going to probably get confusing and complicated, so I decided to spin this out into its own video before I even get to my actual goal. So today's goal is to just play around with typography in P5 and see if I can change the font in a P5 sketch. So to start with, what am I going to do? I'm going to go to the P5 editor. This is our handy dandy editor, which if you've seen any of the P5 videos before, you're probably familiar with. But it gives us the editor on the left and then the canvas on the right. So by default, it's just showing a gray background without anything else. So just to get started, I'm going to maybe just add some text to the screen. So maybe this is width over 2, height over 2, maybe put it in the middle, and let's see what that looks like. And yeah, okay, happy coding is indeed in the middle. It's a little off center because this width over 2 and height over 2, it's actually like the left edge of the start of the text and like, I don't know, I think maybe the bottom of the text or something like that. Text is weird. So to make up for that, I'm going to maybe do like text mode or something, or text align. You know what? I actually don't remember, so I'm going to look this up. So I'm going to go to the P5 reference, and I'm going to do Control F for like text align or something. Yeah, this is the thing I want, and I want to do text align center. So text align center both vertically and horizontally, and I'm going to run that. And now you can see it's kind of in the center, and that's all good. And that's cool. And I can also play with like text size. I think it is text size. So I don't know what the default is, but let's say like 18. And that makes it a little bigger. I can make it even bigger if I want. So you can change the size that way. So let me maybe look at that in the reference here. So what is the units on that? Is it points? Yeah, it's pixels actually. Okay. Font size is measured in pixels. Okay, so I guess that makes sense. So when I pass 36 here, that means that the H is probably 36 pixels tall, or again, text is a little weird, so I don't know if that's exactly right, but I don't know if it measures from like the very bottom, but it doesn't really matter. Bigger numbers will make it bigger, smaller numbers will make it smaller. Let's see what other text functions there are before I get to like the the font stuff, which is what I'm actually here to do. So let's see, like text style I think is like italic and bold, so I could change it to text style italic. Is that right? And yeah, okay, so I run that and I can see that it's italic, and maybe that's cool, maybe that's good enough for something, but it's not my end goal here, so I'm going to keep looking around. Text style is what we just did, right? Yep. And some of these are like getting numbers of like measuring the text, which is not what I'm here to do. I think eventually what I'm going to look at is this text font stuff. So yeah, let me jump over to that. And this begins the area of like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. So like, I've never used these functions before. So, okay. So what I'm doing is looking at the reference, and I'm like looking through the code real quick, and I see that you can call like text font, and it looks like it takes a string, and that's like a name of a font. Okay. What I'm less sure about is like, I don't know much about fonts, honestly. So like, what if my computer doesn't have Georgia, or what if it doesn't have Helvetica? I don't know what happens. so I can read through here. Okay, I don't know if I'm using WebGL, honestly. I'm not sure. We'll see. Web safe font. Oh, okay. So maybe this answers my question. A font that is generally available across all systems. Okay, and I can like click into this and maybe read up on web safe fonts. And okay, generally available across all systems and used without much worry. Okay, that's cool. These are called web safe fonts, and it looks like you've got some options here. All right, that's nice. It would be nice if these were in the font that they were advertising, but whatever. Oh, and this is nice. It tells you like, you know, this is not available on mobile OSs. That's good to know. Okay. All right, cool. And then these are like not named fonts, but like generic fonts, or like, are these called font families? No, I'm probably making that up. I don't know. But like there's different ways. So let's try this out actually. What is this fantasy thing? Actually, maybe let me try to use something in the example. So let's start with something a little safer. So like text font Georgia. I wonder what the default is. Does it say default in here? No. Default font is a string. Oh, I can get the default name. So okay, maybe that's fun. So maybe I'll just do like a console.log here. Console.log of text font. And that will tell me the name of the default font. And it's okay, it's just sans serif. Okay, all right, it's cool. And maybe what I'll do is text font. Whoops, I already copied the whole line. So now I'm going to change it to Georgia. Maybe I'll take out this italic for now. And yeah, all right, I can see that it's different. So this has like the serifs, the lines, whereas when I didn't have that, it didn't have those things, because this is a sans serif font, which means it doesn't have those thingies, those serifs. Again, I don't really know much about typography and fonts and stuff, so I'll probably get stuff wrong. But you know, the important thing is that I can change the font, and that's pretty cool already, that I can do that. I am tempted to try this fantasy thing, specifically because it told me not to here. Less predictable, and like you had me at less predictable. Sign me up. So like, can I do this? And, okay, I mean, it's nothing too exciting, but you know, definitely a different font than the default. So that's cool. So okay, you could play around with that, and I could play around with like the different what are these called? Web fonts. Yeah, web safe fonts. So I could play around with these. So like, you know, I could play with like, what does Arial look like? What does Times New Roman look like? And you know, maybe that's good enough for what we need to do. Or you could play with some of these like generic types. So what does cursive? Actually, let's try that out. I don't even know. Cursive. That's funny. It's like, it's almost Comic Sans. It's kind of cute. All right, that's fun. But like, I think that's kind of limited. So like, you're kind of limited to these examples, and you know, if that's good enough, then that's fine. But I kind of want to play with the idea of using like custom fonts, and that's when it gets, you know, really interesting and really confusing. So that's what I'm kind of here to learn about. So what I want to kind of look at is, I don't know if I want this function, loadFont maybe, or if there's a better way with like CSS or something. So this is where I don't really know. So let me look at loadFont maybe. So loadFont, you can like load any font given a specific file. Okay. All right. One thing I'm wondering about is do you need access to the file itself, or can you load it from like a URL? or from like a like in CSS, I know you can load it from like a URL. I think you can anyway. I vaguely remember doing that a long time ago. So maybe I'm going to play with something real quick and say like, can I get into the canvas? Oh, this is annoying. So canvas, can I change this CSS like on the fly? Will this work? So if I do like font family, will this do anything? No, I don't think it does. No, I don't think that's changing anything. Okay. And that's fine. You know, I'm just kind of playing around with like what the boundaries of possibility are, and like if this is not font family emoji, I wonder what that does. I'm curious, but that's a different video probably. Okay, so that doesn't do much. Let me maybe search for something that I have in my brain, but I don't really know how it works. Like Google Fonts, I know is a thing that you can like. It's this tool from Google that you can use to get access to these kinds of various fonts, and they have a bunch, and you can like search for them by like keyword and stuff. But just to try something, I want to try this first one. It's like distinct enough that if it works, I'll know that it works. But how do I use this font? Oh, so you download it. Okay. Oh, so all right. I guess this works a little different than what I was thinking. It doesn't give you like a URL. It gives you a file. Okay. Okay. So this gives you a TTF file. Okay. And if I go back to loadFont, did this say that it takes a TTF file? TTF. Okay. Okay. All right. I think that's promising. So what do I need to do? I think what I need to do is take that file that I just downloaded and already forgot where it is. And I need to, oh, can I do this? Sorry, the CSS stuff did not work. Can I drag this onto there? Probably not, but let's find out. Does that do anything? Move? Did that do something? No. No, probably not. All right, I thought maybe it would automatically load the file, upload the file, but it didn't. Totally fine. It doesn't matter. I was just curious. So what do I need to do? I'm going to drag this file onto my desktop. Copy the desktop, sure. So that's unzipped onto my desktop. And so now I'm going to upload a file, which, oh, there I might be able to drag it. It's already gone. Whatever. You can look at what's on my desktop. It's probably just screenshots and stuff. Very exciting stuff. So, all right, I've uploaded that file. It's always a little bit buggy to me, kind of confusing, but I think it worked. So there it is. And maybe I should have changed the name so it's a little easier, but let me copy this into sketch.js. Yeah, let me like put it in a comment somewhere just so I have it. And then this loadFont function. Okay, so it's like this. So I need a preload function which will load the file before it runs setup. So what I need is this, and I need like a my font variable. Let my font, yeah, okay, and then I need to just text font with the font. Okay, this is actually turning out to be, you know, not too bad. I was ready for a fight, but well, I guess I shouldn't speak too soon because I haven't actually run this yet. So, all right, if you're watching, do you want to take any bets? Do you think this will work or not? I generally bet against myself, so I'm going to say that probably I broke something or I did something wrong. So let's run it and see. That works. That works. That works. That's surprising. Usually I break something by this point in the video, but that works. Like, here we go. We've loaded the font and it sure is, you know, applied. Sure is there. You know, while I'm here, I might change a couple things. I might change like the background. I might say I always forget what P5 wants. I think it's maybe fill of 0, or wait, of 255. I never remember if text needs to be fill or stroke or both. That looks pretty decent. Cool. And yeah, I mean that's neat. So maybe I can increase this. Cool. I wonder, can I do like a new line in here? Can I do like a /n? Oh, cool. And all right, nice. I'm pretty happy with this already. This is working pretty well, and there's probably different ways to do that new line thing, but it doesn't matter. My goal is to really like set the font and kind of experiment with it. Cool. So that worked, and I'm like vaguely surprised that it worked that well. So all right, I've modeled like downloading a font from Google Fonts and uploading it to the P5 editor, and then using the loadFont function to use that font in your P5 sketch. So I want to maybe try that out with a couple of different things. Let me think about it. So Google Fonts is fine and all, and I think it's a handy tool, but I kind of like the idea of not relying on these huge companies for every little thing we do. Even though it is kind of hard to argue with the usefulness of having access to all these fonts, but whatever. Whether you want to use something that's not Google for grouchy anti-corporation reasons like me, or if you just have like a font that you like that's somewhere else, or whatever. I want to try to use something that's not from Google Fonts. Anyway, that was all rambling. I'm just going to try something else. So there's this person on Twitter that I follow that does a lot of fonts, and this is maybe part of what I should have done ahead of time. But like, let me stalk this person down. This is kind of creepy. Yeah, it's Eve some pics. I don't know if that's how you say that, but that's how I say it. And I've worked with this person before. They've done some art for Happy Coding before. So I follow them on Twitter, and they do a lot of like creation of fonts for like indie things, indie games and whatnot. So I'm going to try to use a font from Eve here. And I don't know much about Patreon, but I know that they have like some stuff on itch.io. Let me try to find them there. Oh, maybe that's 2 E's, right? Sorry. Yeah, so like I follow them on Twitter here, and maybe it's on itch. Yeah, here. So for the thing I want to actually do, not today, but like the next thing that I'm actually like training this, like I'm learning about fonts in order to do something else. So when I get to that actual step, I'm going to probably purchase one of these like font bundles, but just to get something working, just to test that it works before I commit or whatever, I'm going to look at this free one. Yeah. So this is just different ways to buy the the files and stuff, but this is kind of a free one, maybe that you can check out like I am right now, just to get something working. So let me download this, and again, like I feel guilty not paying for it, but like just for the purposes of getting something working, I am going to download it for now. All right, cool. That looked like it worked. And all right, again, what I'm looking for is like a TTF file. So can I go back to like this image maybe? Okay, so I can see that like here's the fonts that are in it. These like images of the fonts. So like compass, equipment, expression, futile. Futile looks cool. I like futile. All right, so I'm gonna check that out. So futile pro, and all right, here's a TTF file. All right, cool. I feel like I'm learning. I'm already like recognizing like file types and stuff. All right, this is sweet. So let me try this thing again. Let me see if I can upload a file directly. You can tell that I don't really work with this feature of P5 because I'm like, I don't know, I don't really know how it works. I'm just kind of playing around with it. Will this work? No. Okay. I gotta do it the old-fashioned way, which is fine. So let me move this to my desktop. Yeah, and then let me go to desktop and this one. I'm feeling pretty good about this. Usually I get kind of grouchy in these videos and I start getting real mad, but this is working. So let me maybe do feudal. Actually, yeah, let me do. So I'm using the name of the file here, and I'm just putting it in this argument so that it loads the font into this variable, and then I use the variable down here in text font. Okay. Oh, that's cool. That's sweet. That works. Look at that. That's cool. And I think I can further play with it. So like if I go back here, like there's this like, I don't know, this shadow effect. And like, I don't think that's part of the font itself. I think that's like styling on the font. But I think it kind of achieves something like that. So let me go back to kind of boring gray and do like fill of 0. Wait, let's do fill of 255. Let's just see what this looks like. All right, we got gray and white, and I think I can do like a stroke color of 0. I think. Yeah, cool. Let me maybe increase this. So it's funny, like I'm old school, so like I remember setting font size by like points in like, I don't know, word processors. So like I'm like at multiples of 12 and 72 and stuff. But it's arbitrary. It doesn't actually matter, right? So I can make this anything I want. Whatever. Did that change? Text size, let's go with 100 just to check. Yeah, okay. All right, that's cool. That's cool. It's a little maybe blurry. Maybe that's because I have like the anti-aliasing on by default. So let me just see if that changes anything. Let's do with like no stroke or not, no smooth, it's called. And again, like this is stuff that I kind of remember, but if I didn't remember, I could go to the reference and I could look up like no smooth and I could read about it here, and it deals with anti-aliasing, which I think is happening here, but I'm not actually sure. But let's see. And I don't know. I don't know if that made a difference or not. But you know, it's fine. It doesn't really matter. I'm being kind of picky, and this isn't super useful. But I think another thing I could do is play with maybe the like the stroke weight. So stroke weight, maybe put that at 2, and you know, play with the thickness of the outline. You know, that kind of thing. But you know, that's kind of separate. So there's the font, and then there's the styling of the font. So actually, I wonder what happens if I do text. What is that called? Text style? Is that what that was? Where I may have like italics. I'm going to keep saying this, and it's probably annoying to hear, but like I don't know how fonts work. So like I don't know if like this has to be like part of the font or something. But so I don't know if this will work. I don't know if this is like built into the file or not, or what it'll look like. But I'm just kind of curious. So I'm playing around, and that's, you know, that's how I learn. And no, I don't think that did anything. Does bold do anything? No. And I think that might be because the font file itself. So I don't think that these would support different styles. That's my guess. I don't actually know that for sure. So if you're a typography nerd, you know, please correct me and then let me know if I'm saying wrong stuff. But this is kind of based on my very limited understanding and honestly assumptions about how stuff works. But it does look like nothing really changes here. Actually, I wonder if it has to be like in order maybe. It's like maybe if I change the font and then I go text style. No. All right. Let's see if does this say anything about other fonts? Oh, here. So for non-system fonts, please load styled fonts instead. Okay, I don't know what that means. So maybe if I go back to, what was it, loadFont? What's a styled font? does this do? What's draw text? Draw text is just a function. Sorry, my air conditioner turned on, and I don't know if you can hear that in the video, but I'm gonna turn it off real quick. Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything about style fonts here. Styled font? No. So I wonder maybe if I go to the p5 font object, does it say anything? So there's font, there's text bounds. Okay, yeah, nothing about styled fonts. So another thing I might do, and you know, I don't know if I actually care, honestly. I think that I don't know if I would use a custom font and then italicize it. But I'm just kind of curious, so I'm checking this out of like, if I go to maybe learn, is there a section on like typography here? I don't think so. Typography, no. I wonder if there's an example maybe. Letters, words, maybe. Is there a type? So here's typography, letters, words. So no, I don't think so. Okay, yeah, I don't know if it matters too much. So one last thing I'll try is like p5.js custom font style, maybe. So all right, maybe the thing to do is to stop watching this video and go watch this other video. But you know, it's okay. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I don't actually have a super strong opinion. So maybe one thing I might model next. Let me think about this. So I've shown loading a font from Google Fonts. I've shown loading a custom font from somebody like Eve here, who makes you know, cool fonts available. Another thing that I might do is show like creating a font. And this is very far into Kevin has no idea what he's talking about territory, but I have very little experience with it, and that is actually it's in creating this image and styling these links in the navigation bar. So a couple months ago, I guess, I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole of creating a custom font, and you can clearly see that my font making skills are nowhere near the level of Eve over here, but I kind of liked this blocky style anyway. I might eventually change this into maybe a font that Eve makes, but like I was just playing around. So all of that said, I do have a font that I created. So if I go here to the Happy Coding Wikipedia, and oh man, my screen resolution is going nuts. I have a font file that I created here. So here's the TTF file, happycoding.ttf, which we've seen how to use. So we've uploaded a couple TTF files. So maybe what I'll do is show you kind of how I created this file in the first place. And I think I wrote that down somewhere. I hope I did, because I don't know if I remember. So I think I put it in the Happy Coding Wiki, which is kind of a dumping ground for stuff that's kind of meta, like stuff about the stuff that I use while creating the tutorials and stuff. So like how to make a GIF and how to do like how to create a movie and stuff. So this is stuff I've used like in the creation of Happy Coding. And here's fonts. All right, so I did write it down, but I didn't write much. But okay, this is ringing a bell. So to create the file, what I did was I used this tool, which is a web editor. So I can provide a link to this in the video description or in the Happy Coding example page that I eventually post around this video. But yeah, go here to this tool, this pixel font converter, and you can read through this to get more information. But basically the way it works is you can create an image using any kind of image editor that you want. You can use, Microsoft Paint if you want to. And then you upload the image, and this tool actually extracts the font for you, which is really cool. I think that my file is somewhere. No, it's not. It's just these like saved files. So is this? So all right, what did I do? I'm trying to remember. So I used this web editor for. So pixel art. Can I just start drawing without an account? Will it let me? Oh my goodness. Can I load a file? I can. Okay. So this step doesn't actually matter for you because like you wouldn't have a file that already exists, but I'm going to jump to the file that I had previously created. Where did I put that thing? I put that in fonts, in here, and in here. Yeah. All right, cool. So yeah, here is the beautiful image that I created. Again, I could have created it in Microsoft Paint. I could have created it in I don't know, Photoshop or whatever. Does not matter. I just use this web editor. But all it is like pixel art. So this is like, just red pixels and black pixels, and I just drew it by clicking and drawing each letter. And then what did I do? I think I saved that as a PNG and then uploaded that PNG to this tool, and then I exported this, the resulting font as a TTF file, and that gave me this file here. So that's how I created my font file, and then I could use that in the CSS here. So in Happy Coding, if I look at this CSS for it, I can use that font because it's uploaded to the Happy Coding, web directory. None of that matters for what we're doing. I'm just giving you the background of how I have worked with fonts before. So that's actually at the beginning of this video. It's why I was kind of messing around with the CSS, because this is the only way that I knew how to change the font of something. But it looks like you don't have to do that in P5. So none of this actually matters. I was just showing you, how I created the TTF file. It was using this tool and this tool. But that gave me a TTF file, which I can use here in the same way that we have been already. So let me upload a file. Let me remember where I put stuff. Oh, it's actually right here. So happycoding.ttf. Yep. Cool. And I can say happycoding.ttf and save for funsies and hit run. And yeah, there you go. There's my beautiful like custom font. So, all right, I think we're just about, I think that's about where I wanted to find out. So let me maybe make this into something that looks kind of cool. If I go to 32, that's cool. I don't care about the stroke. I think for my purposes, just for funsies, let's do like red maybe, just to see. And yeah, you can play with that if you want, but I think I kind of just like the standard, not a different outline. Another thing I might do is like Happy Coding font. Maybe I'll import a couple of fonts and play around with using multiple fonts in the same sketch. So far I've just used one at a time. But let's see if I can make it a little more interesting. So what do I want to do? Maybe I'll decrease this to something. Yeah, make that a little smaller. And okay, cool. So what I want to do is say, let Happy Coding font, let, which one was Eve's? Eve's was futile, right? Yeah, yes. So I'll use font, which was futile font, and I'll say futile font, just make a variable out of it, load font, futile fudelpro.ttf, just matching the name of the file here. And here's what I want to try. I want to try maybe setting the text of that, and then, all right, maybe this is height over to -100, move that up a little bit. Yeah. And then what I want to do is text font, what did I call it? Feudal font. And text, I don't know, feudal font. So this is Happy Coding. This is Feudal Pro. Let's do it that way. And put it in the middle horizontally, width over 2, and then height over to +100. So a little bit to the bottom of the center vertically. Yeah, let me clean some of this up a little bit. All right, so I've got my two fonts. I load them in preload so that they are loaded before setup is run. And then all I do is text align and text size here because I need to change the font sort of on the fly. So I say Happy Coding font, and then I'm going to write Happy Coding to the screen, and then Feudal font and write Feudal to the screen. Let's see if that works. It's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's perfect. Let's make it a little bigger. Yeah. All right. That's cool. I'm really happy with that. I thought it would be a lot of me fighting with the computer and like dealing with files that I don't understand, but I think P5 makes it, I never like to call things easy in coding because it really depends on a lot of things, on your context and what you've seen before, of like whether something is easy before. So for example, if you've never seen this preload function, I didn't really do a good job of explaining what that is, but you can read about it in the P5 reference, go to preload and read up on anything that you haven't seen before. But I didn't have to deal with like the inner workings of a TTF file at all. I still don't really know what's in there. And I didn't have to deal with any weird like CSS stuff. I can call a function and then draw some text, and it works pretty magically. Cool. So that's where I'm gonna call it, I think. So from here, I think what I'll do is I'm not sure. I might go back to only having a single thing on the screen. Just to make it kind of like more obvious and more organized, but you can use multiple fonts if you want. So from here, what you might do is play around with like some of the styling stuff. So I still don't know what did they call it? A styled font file or something, like text style. So for non-system fonts, please load styled fonts. I still don't know what that is. So if you're curious about, that kind of thing, so like how could I make this text italic as well? I don't know. I could spend another, few minutes probably looking into it, but I personally don't want to do that for what I need to do. But if you are curious, that's something you might look into. You can always play with colors, so that's fun. The way I'm drawing this, I'm drawing the whole word. So if I change the fill color to red, it's going to change the whole thing. What you might play with is changing the color of every letter. That could be fun. It's a little bit, you'll have to split up the call to text to call each letter individually. And you can set the font or the color or the size of each letter differently. So one thing you could do is, I don't know, like maybe each letter has a random font and maybe a random color and size, and create like a kidnapping letter. All right, that's maybe a bad example, but maybe don't do that specific thing. But you can play around with the various stylings of the individual letters, which could be fun. Add some randomness in, because randomness is always fun. And you could another thing you could do is find a font that you really love and play with that and see if you can come up with your own logo or your own name tag or something like that. Your own, like I used it up here in the navigation bar of Happy Coding. So maybe you find a font you love, and if you have like a personal website or something, you could use P5 to create an image like this. That's what this is. This is an image, this like big Happy Coding right here. It's just an image, which you can save from the P5 editor this way. So you could go down that rabbit hole of creating your own like text-based logo. So those are some options you could play with. But for my purposes, what I really wanted to do was just play around with it and learn how this load font function works. And I did. So, all right, I hope that was helpful or useful for you if you're curious about how typography works in P5. But for now, I will say thanks for watching, have a great night, and as always, of course, happy coding.